I mean, there's anything that I could put on this list and it's going to be better than how it was last year. Hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Aoife, and today for the first video of 2021, I am going to take you through some of the resolutions and the goals and the bookish aims that I have for the year that's coming. I've got like 7 or 8 of them that I really want to concentrate on this year, and they're mainly to do with the books that I want to read rather than how I want my channel to perform or how I want my blog to perform. So let's see what's going to be on the list. First up is I want to read 90 books. And I know that that sounds like quite a lot, but in 2020 I read 113, which is also quite a lot. So I feel like 90 is pretty doable. Last year I set my Goodreads challenge target at 80 books, and I had the same as in 2019 because I didn't think it would impact my reading as much. Then there was a huge global pandemic and everybody had to stay inside for months on end. So I spent quite a lot of time reading. I spent quite a lot of time at work listening to audiobooks, and I've basically just built up my reading very quickly, but not really having paid attention to it a lot. I have a feeling that if I do the same this year, just kind of read without noticing how many books I'm reading, I might get to 90 a lot quicker than I think that I will. The next goal is something that I have been doing since maybe 2017 or so, and that is to save €1 for every book that I have read. So up until 2020, I actually put it physically into a jar in my bedroom. But starting in 2020, I made a Revolut vault instead. And I felt like that was such an easier way to do it because I didn't have to worry, oh, I don't have €1 on me right now. I don't have €2 on me right now that I can swap out. I literally just had to go to Revolut when I finished a book and put the money across, which was so much easier to do. So that is something that I am definitely going to do again this year. When it gets to the change of the year, I always like to treat myself to something bookish with the money that I have saved up by reading books the year before. So for this year, for example, I've actually spent all that money on a Kindle that I needed for my German account, and that didn't cover all of it. So I think what I'm going to do is use the rest of it to kind of just treat myself to a couple of books, but I'm going to have to explain to that one later on. The next goal is one that I'm going to try and concentrate on quite a lot, and it is to diversify my reading. And I know that a lot of people out there are trying to diversify their reading. They're trying to read a lot more nonfiction. They're trying to read a lot more books by BIPOC authors. I am definitely going to try and up my reading there because I had a look at what I've read in 2020 and it's a lot of cis white het authors. And I have a feeling that if I stay in that lane, I'm never going to learn anything else. I'm never going to experience other people's stories, other people's ways of living, other lives that I'm not going to experience if I just keep reading the same authors and the same stories that I keep myself to. So I am definitely going to try and diversify what I'm reading in 2021. My next goal is to get my NetGalley shelf to 80%. So I have talked about my NetGalley before on this channel, and I've said that my NetGalley was at 65% back then. That was in like November, and I spent an entire month really concentrating on NetGalley. And that did help it a bit, but because I kept also requesting books while reviewing them at the same time, it didn't really do much. I'm now sitting on 63%, which is 17% away from what I would really like it to be. The suggested feedback ratio that you get from NetGalley is 80%. So if I can get to there by the end of 21, I'm doing a pretty good job. There are, at present, 103 books on there. 3 of them are audiobooks and the rest are all e-copies. So what I'm definitely going to do in 2021 is pay a lot more attention to my NetGalley shelf that I have right now, rather than the fine title section of the site. The next goal that I'm going to talk about kind of relates to the last video that I just put up here, and it is to read at least 30 books from my physical TBR. I'm not even going to attempt to count how many books I have on my Kindle, but I have 80 books around that sitting on that shelf behind me here. And those are just the ones that I haven't read. So you might have seen my new TBR game. It's got an advent calendar in it, spoiler alert. But I'm going to try and read at least 4 of those every month up until June. And then after that, I'm going to try and keep going as much as I can to get as many of these out of there as possible. And my next goal really does tie into that, in that I am going on a book buying ban until at least the end of June. So the end of June is my birthday. My birthday is the 27th. And I feel like if I can get to there without having bought a single book, A, I'll have cleared off so much space. B, I'll have read quite a lot from my Kindle as well. C, I'll probably have read a good few from NetGalley. But D, I can go on a huge book buying spree. So the last two ones are kind of more social media-y kind of. The first goal is to pay a bit more attention to my Booktube channel. I started it last year on the 2nd of March, and I'm really hoping, I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but I'm really hoping to get to about 600 subscribers by the end of the year. It might happen, it might not, but I'm really going to try and just give as much power to this as I can. I'm also going to really concentrate on the 2 series that I have on the channel so far, which is Cooking the Books, where I cook something from all of my cookbooks, or Book and a Brew, where I sit down and I talk about 3 books that I've recently read that all have a kind of a similar theme. Those I am definitely going to put at least 1 video a month onto the channel every month. And so the last one is a very social media one, and it is to concentrate and not neglect my Pinterest. I changed my Pinterest account to a business account in, I think, like late 2018, early 2019. And I have seen what can happen when you really pay attention to it and when you really just update it every day, when you put pins up every day, when you start pinning other people's things, when you interact with the site. I have seen what it can do to your stats. I've seen what it can do to your Pinterest goals. And that's something that I really want to concentrate on this year. And I keep saying, oh, I'm going to do more with Pinterest. Oh, I'm going to put more pins up. Oh, I'm going to pin this and I'm going to put this on the site. And then I just don't do it. So what I'm going to hope to do is at least 1 pin every single day. And that only takes like 20 minutes. So it's something that I can do while I'm lying down in bed before I go to sleep every night. It is something that is so simple, and I don't know why I haven't done it yet. Those are all of my bookish goals for 2021. Have you set any bookish goals for yourself for 2021? Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up here every week. Now, get on out of here.